Wow, Winston Frederick Sterzel. You're really in self-destruct mode with the video that you posted this morning, Winston Frederick Sterzel. My advice to you would have been to avoid that whole Xiaohongshu topic, Winston Frederick Sterzel.
This is incredible. Did you know that the American government has been lying to you about China all this time?
By extension, Winston Frederick Sterzel, you too have been lying about China all this time.
Seriously, all the bad things you've ever heard about the Communist Party of China and China, it's just American propaganda. In fact, if you install Xiaohongshu, Little Red Book, and you can go and see what China's really like. You've been lied to this whole time. It'll change your mind. You'll get to see what China's really like.
And that's exactly what happened, Winston Frederick Sterzel. You're all butthurt that people are seeing them for themselves, right, Winston Frederick Sterzel?
But let's get back to Xiaohongshu and talk about how it shows the real China, the reality of China.
Okay, so here we go, Winston Frederick Sterzel. This was pretty obvious, Winston Frederick Sterzel, but of course you were planning to push the negatives all along, weren't you, Winston Frederick Sterzel?
But on top of that, it's heavily censored. So the government makes sure there are no politics involved on Little Red Book. You're not allowed to show police brutality. You're not allowed to show anything that might cast China in a bad light, like poverty, for instance, homelessness. You know, the list goes on. Anything that might cast China in a bad light is not allowed on the platform.
All those things you mentioned are not banned because they show China in a bad light, Winston Frederick Sterzel. That's just one of the stupid things that you made up, Winston Frederick Sterzel. They're banned to keep social harmony, Winston Frederick Sterzel. How can you claim to be a China expert if you didn't know that, Winston Frederick Sterzel? Rumors and lies are also banned, Winston Frederick Sterzel, so I won't look for any videos posted by you, Winston Frederick Sterzel.
So to think that you're seeing a real-life depiction of what China's really like by downloading Xiaohongshu is, of course, completely false.
Oh yeah, Winston Frederick Sterzel. People seeing for themselves is completely false, right? They should instead get all their information about China from you, right, Winston Frederick Sterzel? Like somehow listening to you, Winston Frederick Sterzel, a person who hasn't been to China since like 2018, is the place to learn about the real China, right, Winston Frederick Sterzel?
That's what Little Red Book or Xiaohongshu is. It's an idealized lifestyle app.
It's an idealized lifestyle app, Winston Frederick Sterzel? Xiaohongshu also has news, travel, music, etc., etc., etc. You really are out of touch, Winston Frederick Sterzel.
So what you're seeing is a state-controlled image of what China could be like.
That is just hilarious, Winston Frederick Sterzel. Looking at videos and talking to people actually in China is what China could be like, Winston Frederick Sterzel? That's insulting your followers, Winston Frederick Sterzel.
What I'm trying to tell you is that this look that you're getting into China is a curated one, and it's not reality.
Oh, now you double down, Winston Frederick Sterzel. What they're seeing with their own eyes is not reality. Yeah.
It's pretty simple, and anyone with a little bit of common sense could see that. But the amount of misinformation and disinformation that's being spread is actually quite appalling, because don't forget, Xiaohongshu only has a 300 million user base.
Another funny statement, Winston Frederick Sterzel. Isn't that like the population of United States, Winston Frederick Sterzel? It's only 300 million.
Don't forget that everything is blocked in China, so they can't just come onto Twitter and engage with you there. They can't come onto Instagram and engage with you there, or Facebook or YouTube, or any of the normal social media apps that you use are blocked in China, right?
There's literally a ton of social media to choose from in China, Winston Frederick Sterzel. None of those apps that you mentioned there are needed, Winston Frederick Sterzel. Why is it that it's only Westerners who complain about China not using those sites, Winston Frederick Sterzel? Chinese people in general never complain about that, and most have never even heard of those apps, Winston Frederick Sterzel.
So it's taken this crazy move of TikTok refusing to divest, so they are the ones actually responsible for shutting themselves down.
More mocking of your followers, Winston Frederick Sterzel. Do you really think they don't know who's responsible for this, Winston Frederick Sterzel? Duh!
Just remember, if you're losing your livelihood because TikTok is shutting down, The only people you can blame is TikTok themselves. They have thrown you under the bus. They do not care. They don't care about you. If they did, they would have allowed somebody to buy it so the app could continue.
That is total propaganda right there, Winston Frederick Sterzel. Or should I say, slopaganda.
They honestly thought that this whole thing with TikTok would go away because they've been putting so much time and effort into making the American public feel as if their government is screwing them over, where it's actually TikTok themselves who are doing it.
The American government is screwing their people over and over and over again, Winston Frederick Sterzel. So, Winston Frederick Sterzel, here's why I would have recommended that you avoid this topic. It exposes Winston Frederick Sterzel, you, for the liar and fake that you are, Winston Frederick Sterzel. And of course, I can't see the full analytics of your channel, Winston Frederick Sterzel, but sometimes your followers visit my channel and leave comments there, Winston Frederick Sterzel. After politely replying to them, every one of them, Winston Frederick Sterzel, I often click on their channel to see who they are. I'd say the majority of them are very young people, Winston Frederick Sterzel. Many of which I assume use TikTok, right, Winston Frederick Sterzel? You think they don't know what's up, Winston Frederick Sterzel? Proof of it is in your comment section, Winston Frederick Sterzel. I see your fellow anti-China YouTuber David Zhang left a comment there in your comment section to commiserate with you, Winston Frederick Sterzel. But, Winston Frederick Sterzel, what is usually 100% adoring comments in your comment section is different this time. Many of the comments are critical, Winston Frederick Sterzel, even though you block anyone who criticizes you. The running joke is that you censor more than the Chinese government, Winston Frederick Sterzel. Looks like you're going to need to block a whole bunch more now, Winston Frederick Sterzel.
That's a great one.
Yeah.
Whoa! Almost dropped
Desirable.
water everywhere.